while Tails ran an urgent scan on his instruments and confirmed with dread that the storm clouds were entirely artificial and externally generated, which meant Sonic needed exactly 1 second to figure out who was behind it all that night. While all of Savannah slept peacefully and unsuspectingly, Eggman and Orbit floated silently through the darkened city streets in mosquito ghost form, drifting hungrily toward Green Hills Farm. But Blaze sensed them coming before they even reached the barn door and let out a massive panicked moo that jolted Tails awake at his computer terminal instantly. And by the time Eggman and Orbit had shrunk themselves into tiny mosquito form and landed smugly on Blaze's hide, Sonic was already standing in the barn with a flashlight, scanning every inch of the stall with sharp, focused eyes until the very next day, the city woke up to absolute chaos, with mosquitoes blanketing River Street, filling the air above the historic district, driving tourists from the waterfront, shutting down restaurants on Broughton Street, and hitting every corridors of Ravenmore Castle alone. He found the Queen's chambers. He knocked. When Isabella opened the door and saw him standing there, the fear on her face was brief but complete before she composed herself. What happened in the next hour was something Edward had not fully planned and had been building toward for 3 years. Isabella refused him again, clearly and without equivocation. She told him to leave or she would call her guards. Edward, who had told himself a story for 3 years in which this moment ended differently, found himself standing in the Queen's chambers with that story collapsing around him. When the guards found nothing wrong the next morning and the Queen did not appear for the morning meal, it was her lady-in-waiting lady and who raised the alarm. The castle searched. Isabella was found in her private garden in the early morning light, cold and still on the stone bench where Edward had carried her after. Edward was gone before dawn, riding hard back to Blackstone with his small guard, telling himself a different story now. An accident. A tragedy. The Queen had fallen ill suddenly. These things happened. King Frederick returned from the north to find his wife dead and his castle in mourning, and a story that did not hold together no matter how many times his advisors tried to arrange it into something that made sense. The rumors reached him within a week. Edward of Blackstone had been at Ravenmore. Edward of Blackstone had left before dawn the morning Isabella was found. Edward of Blackstone. Frederick prepared for war, but war never came, because something else came first. 3 weeks after Isabella's death, on a cold face went through confusion, then recognition, then fury. Dorothy Vance. She exhaled slowly. That photograph is not a guardian, Cassie. It's a curse object, an anchor for dark energy, bound to you and your pregnancy. And that woman tonight was sent by Dorothy. She used your wedding dress to finish the ritual. Janet, my baby, is going to be fine. Janet stood up. Show me the photograph. She crossed the apartment and pulled it off the wall without hesitation. The moment she touched it, Cassie gasped with another sharp wave of pain. Janet didn't stop. She walked to the back door, stepped outside, set the photograph on the concrete, and lit a match. The paper caught fast, burned bright and orange, and Cassie's pain disappeared. Completely. Instantly. It
was not quite right, but did not dare comment on. The second night she came back. Same hour, same cold, same white dress, same dark eyes looking at him from the foot of the bed with that expression beyond anger and beyond sorrow. This time she did not raise her hand. She simply stood and looked at him for a very long time. Long enough for Edward to feel every second of it in his chest like the pressure of deep water. Then she turned and walked through the wall again. The third night Edward did not go to bed. He sat in his throne room with every torch lit and his most trusted guard stationed at every door and drank wine until he could not see clearly and then drank more. He fell asleep in his throne at some point before midnight and woke at the stroke of 12 to find the throne room cold and every torch extinguished simultaneously and Isabella standing before his throne in the complete darkness. Her white dress the only light in the room. Her He was shaking so badly his armor rattled. He was a king who had commanded armies and conquered territories and made hard men afraid, and he was pressed against a stone pillar on the floor of his own throne room shaking like a child. "What do you want?" he said into the dark. "Tell me what you want." Isabella looked at him from 3 feet away in the darkness. When she spoke, it was the first time she had spoken. Her voice was exactly as he remembered it. That same direct and completely awake voice. But it came from
The witch grabbed all the children and floated them in midair. One more word, and I drop someone out of this plane. Please. Ms. Parker stepped forward. These are innocent children. They came to see an airplane. Please don't end their journey before it begins. Then keep them quiet. A brave kid pulled a pencil from his bag and jabbed it into the witch's eye. Ow, who did that? The witch found Roshan's bag. She slammed. What do children have to do with that? Everything. A year ago, I was a flight attendant on this very airline. My dream job. Then I had a baby, stayed home for a while, and when I came back, terrorists hijacked our plane. I single-handedly saved every passenger. home.